You have been graded your entire life on one number. A test score, a report card, a percentile rank. And somewhere along the way, that number quietly convinced you of something you never actually agreed to believe. That intelligence is a single line, and you either land near the top of it or you don't. What if that's the biggest lie modern education ever sold you? What if the reason you've spent years underestimating yourself or overestimating the wrong people is because nobody ever handed you the real map? Psychology has one, and it doesn't look anything like a report card. It's not one type of smart, it's 5. And the 5th one is so rare that most people go their entire lives without ever switching it on. So let's go through all 5, one at a time, because by the end of this, you're going to look at your own mind and everyone else's completely differently. The first is analytical intelligence, and this is the one you already know. It's the kind that gets measured on standardized tests, the kind built for logic, pattern recognition, and problem solving. The mathematician, the coder, the engineer. That's analytical IQ doing its job. People strong in this area can take something complicated, break it into pieces, and find the flaw or the solution faster than the room around them. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. This is one room in a very large house. Scoring low here doesn't mean you're not intelligent. It means your intelligence is furnished somewhere else. Society built an entire education system around measuring this one room, while the rest of the house, full of abilities that never got graded, never got named, never got applauded, just sat there in the dark. The second is creative intelligence, and it's more powerful than people give it credit for. This is the ability to generate ideas nobody else is seeing, to connect two things that had no business being connected, and to find a way through when everyone else has already declared it a dead end. Psychologists call this divergent thinking, the brain's ability to take one starting point and branch it into a dozen different directions, instead of narrowing it down to one answer. Analytical intelligence closes things in. Creative intelligence blows them wide open. And there's something almost eerie backing this up. Researchers studying highly creative individuals have found unusually strong activity in what's called the brain's default mode network. The same circuitry tied to imagination, future thinking, and deep self-reflection. In other words, the daydreamers, people dismissed in school, weren't unfocused. Their brains were running on a frequency the rest of the room hadn't tuned into yet. The third is emotional intelligence. And if you've heard the term before, you already sense how different this one feels. It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotion. Both the storm going on inside your own head and the quieter signals coming off everyone around you. People high in emotional intelligence don't just feel things intensely. They understand why they're feeling it, and they use that understanding to move through conflict, pressure, and relationships with a kind of calm that looks almost effortless from the outside. This isn't softness. It's self-awareness weaponized for real life. Psychology keeps linking it to better mental health, stronger relationships, and higher professional success. Not because these people are gentler, but because they see the emotional undercurrent everyone else is missing. And here's the detail worth sitting with. Unlike raw analytical horsepower, which is largely fixed, emotional intelligence can be built. It grows every time you choose reflection over reaction and empathy over ego. It's the one type of intelligence on this list you can train starting today. Before we get to the last two, and you genuinely do not want to skip these, tell me in the comments which of the 5 you think you carry the most of. And if there's someone in your life who spent years being told they're not smart enough, send them this. What's coming next might be the exact thing that finally makes them see themselves clearly. The fourth is social intelligence. And this is where things start getting rare. It's not the same as being friendly or easy to talk to. It's the ability to walk into a room and instantly read the temperature, sense the unspoken tension, the politics nobody's saying out loud, the mood behind the smile, and adjust in real time without anyone noticing you did. People with high social intelligence always seem to know the right thing to say in the right moment. They know when to speak, when to hold back, when to push, when to let it go. Psychologists describe it almost like radar, an unconscious ability to decode the invisible rulebook that governs every group of humans, from a family dinner to a boardroom. It's rarer than raw logic, and in the real world, it's often far more useful. What makes it fascinating is that it's running underneath every conversation you've ever had. The second you sense someone is performing happiness, they don't actually feel that social intelligence quietly doing its work. Most people catch that signal once and forget it. People with high social IQ collect thousands of them without even trying. And then there's the fifth, the rarest of all, existential intelligence. This concept traces back to Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, and it describes something most people spend their whole lives actively avoiding: the capacity to sit with the biggest, most uncomfortable questions a human being can ask. What is any of this for? Why does suffering exist? What happens when it ends? What does it even mean to be aware that you're aware? Most people brush up against questions like these and immediately look for the nearest exit, a distraction, a scroll, a change of subject. But people with high existential intelligence don't flinch from that void. They walk toward it. These are the philosophers, the visionaries, the quiet ones in the room who carry a depth other people can sense but can't quite name. This type is rare because it demands something most minds never build: the psychological courage to face uncertainty without needing an answer immediately, to be genuinely at peace with not knowing. In a culture engineered to keep you rushing, consuming, and distracted every waking second, that kind of stillness might be the rarest resource left. Here's the real takeaway psychology wants you to walk away with. Intelligence was never a single line ranking people from dull to brilliant. It's a landscape, 5-dimensional, and every person alive is carrying their own unrepeatable combination of these 5. The tragedy is that society picked one dimension to worship and let the other 4 go unnoticed. And in doing that, it convinced billions of capable people that they were falling short. The kid who bombed every exam but could walk into any room and read it perfectly. That was social intelligence, dismissed. The child who never stopped asking why and what's the point? The one adults called exhausting. That was existential intelligence, mislabeled as overthinking. The artist who failed every standardized test but made strangers cry with something they built by hand. That was creative intelligence, graded with the wrong ruler entirely. Now you know better. Now you can look at your own mind and the minds of the people around you with a level of accuracy and a level of compassion most people never get to have. So tell me, out of these 5, which one do you think is your strongest? And which one do you most want to build? Because naming it is always the first step, and you just took it.